Welcome to season 5, episode 1 of the Film Bros Cemetery podcast. I am Tim. With me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy? We're back.
Good evening, Mr. Phelps. We're back.
We're back.
Like we never left.
Like we never left. Anyway, so we've returned. There's no intro episode. We're getting right into it. And this season's all about the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yeah. Do you remember seeing this in theater? I don't think we saw this together. I can't remember.
I'm almost positive I saw it in theater, but I do not remember who I saw it with, to be honest.
Like, I think I was in Boy Scouts, and we all went out to see it together for some reason.
I definitely did not see it with the Scouts. That I am sure of.
No, you weren't in Boy Scouts then. You were in Cub Scouts at that time.
Yeah.
I remember going, and one of the parents is like, "Yeah, I knew Jim Phelps wasn't dead," and I was like, "Why?" I have no context for why that would be a thing.
None. Yeah, I knew that it was based on an old TV show.
I did not know. I did not know.
No, I feel like I was told about it, but I had no connection to it at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no idea. You know what I mean? Like even like watching my first Star Trek movie, like I was aware and knew of the Star Trek show.
Well, I definitely watched the shows and the movies, like the movies first and then the shows right after.
Right.
So like, and Mom was always telling us everything about like, context and everything like that. But Mission Impossible, no, I had no context whatsoever.
Like there was, even if I didn't get to quite watch episodes, like there's still all the visuals and pictures of the traditional outfits and everything with Star Trek. So I feel like I had some kind of touchstone with it. But yeah, Mission Impossible 0.
The number one thing I remember from this movie when it came out is everyone complained that it was confusing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was dumbfounded and confused by that complaint. Like, I don't know. It seemed pretty obvious to me.
I agree with you, but I think I can kind of get it because if you're not picking up in that scene, which I don't know if we're really jumping ahead or not.
This is before smartphones. So I'm like, unless you are absolutely not paying attention whatsoever,
because the confusing part, right, is what because they're trying to show like almost like not really flashbacks, but him thinking in his head.
Right.
But he's talking one thing, but he's thinking in the flashbacks a different thing.
Right.
And I'm not catching up on that.
I'm afraid that you have been eating paint chips as a child.
To be honest, I can understand younger people being a little like, wait a minute, what?
I don't remember any young people complaining. I remember adults complaining. That's the thing that confounds me.
Maybe.
Like major critics, like, that was kind of confusing. Like, all right.
No, I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear that's what's happening, and which it adds to the movie. So anyway, the first movie obviously is Mission Impossible. One, yeah. I mean, it's not. You can't. It's weird because like all the box set stuff, it's like MI1 next to it.
Right. And this one's just Mission Impossible.
And this one really is just Mission Impossible, but it's weird to see it have things say MI1 on it. It's like, but okay. It's like changing like your favorite, changing Raiders of the Lost Ark to Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Fuck that shit. That's not the name of the movie.
Well, Mission Impossible 1 is not the name of it either, but yeah.
I don't actually call it that. It was just jokes.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, man, I love this movie.
It's perfect. So Tim and I tried to come up with like what makes a great Mission Impossible movie based on our category stuff, our silly nonsense. So we figured best way to break these movies down: villain, sneakiness. So now we will cover the actual heist that they do in the movie and the gadgets that they use.
Right.
The crew, IMF crew.
Right. And lady, you put.
Well, I said crew.
No, well, how you texted to me said crew and lady.
I just wrote crew now. There's like, yeah, but like it's crazy how there's like, yeah, we get one. This is the only one in the movie franchise where like Ethan gets like more than one woman, except for like the most recent one.
Right.
Like more than one woman gets to be in the movie.
Yeah.
for multiple scenes. Um, and the difficulty of the impossible. I don't know how to praise it, but stunts in the mission.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we also have a fun category, right?
yes, and we'll get into that. I didn't think of a funny uh, drop for that, but oh well.
Well, we could think of something.
Maybe we can pull up the Adam Scott audio for
Yeah,
him talking
maybe,
about
maybe,
Severance.
yeah, maybe that's the right one.
All right, so should we start with villain?
Yeah. Um, so we have a few in this category. This movie's got some villains.
I only wrote up two. You wrote more than one, two?
Um, yeah, I have three
Max
altogether.
is not a villain. Don't give me Max.
She is a villain.
She's closer to the crew than the villain.
No, she's not in on anything. She's an arms dealer that that you think is going to get arrested, but clearly makes a deal, which is a nice, fun moment. And as much as she's like a playful, fun person, she's clearly a bad person.
From a certain point of view.
Oh, dear Lord.
I
Wow.
could not chalk her up to a villain. She didn't. She's really ever an adversary for Ethan Hunt. So I put her
I
more
don't,
in like as like a.
he's
I wrote her
gotta
up in
come.
crew.
No, she's not part of the crew. I'm sorry. No, she's not in it. And I wanted her to include, and she's a bad guy. So she's a villain to me. I wholeheartedly disagree with this. Like, there's no way I'll accept your view.
Okay,
Like,
agree to disagree.
she's not in the crew. I don't know.
I know she's not in the crew, but like I put her in the crew just because like she's more of an ally than she is an adversary in this movie.
I think one thing's for sure is we both enjoyed her so much in this movie
Yes,
that we had to include her in a category. Like,
yes.
no matter what, she had to be included somewhere for both of us.
Vanessa Redgrave as Max is fantastic.
She's so good in it, and the the back and forth between her and Ethan is just dynamite.
It's
It's really
delicious.
good. It's
She's
really
just
good.
constantly flirting with a hint of like danger in everything she says, but also like fun.
Yeah.
So it's she's great. Love
Yeah.
Max. She's a great ally.
She's so much fun. She's a villain that's being used. But because like clearly she wants the knock list so she can sell it to the highest bidder and make money off of
But she's
people
helping
basically
Ethan
getting
out
killed.
by helping him get the actual bad guy.
Uh, yeah, so she could do something evil.
Not, we don't know what
So,
she's going to
which
do with
is
that knock list.
it's all part of the play where Ethan's basically this list cannot get out into the open, right?
Right.
So like she cannot succeed because she's also a bad person, so she cannot win, right? So we got to do whatever we can and jam it and block it, like she can't win, because her plan is evil, therefore bad guy, therefore not anywhere near the crew, and she belongs in the villain category.
I don't know. She's more like what's his name from Goldeneye? What's his yeah, Zukovsky. She's more like a Zukovsky than she is a Trevelyan. Is my point.
I don't.
So
I
like
disagree
where she
there.
can, yeah, she's not exactly on the side of the angels, but she helps him out more than she's actually ever against him. But let's
Um.
move on because we
Okay.
are getting way too
Yes,
about
we're
Vanessa
getting
Redgrave.
bogged down here. Yes. But anyway,
Let's talk about the actual villains in this movie. We have Gene Kittredge, played
mhm.
by Henry Czerny,
Who's not really a villain,
but
but
he is an adversary throughout, and the
yes, he
movie wants
is.
to make you pretend that he is the villain.
Yeah, I mean, even again, when we're talking about the confusing scene, quote unquote, right? As they're
Right.
going through it, they're talking about it being Kittredge is the one behind it, even though he's thinking it's someone else in his head. But like, and that's what we
You
visually
don't.
see.
You can spoil it.
But
The real villain is Jim Phelps, played by
yeah,
John Voight.
right. Um, yeah,
Like,
and so it's Kittredge is a lot of fun. He is just playing that dick boss basically
yeah.
incredibly well.
Well, first off, I mean, like his the way he has the lines, "Good evening,
Oh
Mr.
yeah.
Phelps," and "Good morning, Mr. Phelps," just note perfect.
His
And it's
cadence to things is really good.
nobody does it better.
He
Like
really can punch it up in a way that's not hammed, and it's just a lot of fun. He puts a
I
little
love Zerny
emphasis
and
in
everything. Yeah.
certain parts. And man, when we saw him pop up in the trailer for the the newer movies or whatever, it's just like, oh,
Oh,
oh.
I did a little dance when
Yeah,
they revealed that he was coming back for the. I was like, oh yes.
yeah,
But yeah, first time we actually see Kittredge on screen, before he even reveals that he thinks Ethan's a traitor, he's like spitting sympathy to Ethan, but giving like grateful of shit energy.
yeah.
Like Henry Zerny does this really smart choice by covering his face
Hmm.
the entire time as he's like conveying lying with so like he's like conveying lying and withholding before the audience knows that he's actually doing these things.
Yeah.
Sets up the vibe perfectly.
And forgive me, it's in what is it in Prague or something like that in the beginning?
Yes, the opening
Yeah.
movie was in Prague.
And I love that little phone conversation where clearly he's already kind of like rehearsed that phone conversation as Ethan's calling in panicked.
Yeah,
Like it's something I more noticed this time. Like it's clearly like a rehearsed almost conversation. Like I'm gonna do this, and then I love the reveal of Ethan being like, "Wait a minute, you're in Prague?"
I'll be
Like
there in
I
an hour.
yeah, and then that drop too. It's like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah. The movie wants to trick you into thinking that Kittredge is the bad guy. It's really clever about it. He's mean to Ethan and talks
Right.
about finding something important to him and squeezing.
Oh,
Makes
you gotta
make
love
Ethan
when
come to
Andrew
him.
squeeze, and
Sounds
you
like a
gotta love it.
classic bad guy speech. So like it's
Yeah,
all there. But the
yeah.
movie is
Uses
like,
his mom and his uncle, right? Like as a ploy to get him out. It's like dirty kind of way to do it, you know?
yeah, and just I love the scene, the split diopter shot with Kittredge and Barnes at the CIA after the heist.
Yeah,
He's talking about covering up the leaks and sending poor Donahue to a radar tower in Alaska by the end of the day. Just
yeah.
mail him his clothes.
Yeah, I think it like starts off with like this doesn't go
This
farther than
never
me
happened.
and you. Like
Yeah.
like this is embarrassing. Like but you gotta love it. Kittredge is always just out for Kittredge. Um right and what he needs to accomplish for his own. And I think that even carries over into the new movies, which I really like. I think they've done a really good job with his character. It's so great to see him back too. So he the back and forth in the restaurant
Mm-hmm. I
is
wanted to get into that scene later, but yeah, yeah,
I
I
mean we don't
know.
have to get into the action part of it, but just um the back and forth exchange there, it just shows how good he is in that scene too. And I love how um he's also starting to get irritated towards the end of that scene, and he so all of a sudden he starts to like get all more intense in his delivery and stuff like that. And again, a great back and forth exchange between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought it was funny when he shows up into like a G-Man outfit when he goes into Max's place. He's like rocking the fedora and the trench coat. I'm like
All of their like some of them like one of them's almost in like a lab coat.
the
Like
rest
it's
of them are dressed like they're supposed to be like painters, but it's supposed to be obvious. But like there's Kittredge in like the trench coat and the fedora. I'm like,
yeah.
why?
And there's like a
Why?
random lady that looks like dressed all weird too. It's a weird assortment of people like all in this like unmarked white van. It's like it could not be more weird.
But I love his little speech afterwards. Just like he's a ghost. We trained him to do it. All
Yeah.
that stuff. It's great. But let's get into Jim Phelps, who was the main character of the original series from season 2 through season 7.
No, it wasn't
Wasn't
in one. Okay.
No, I found that out tonight.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Thought he was the main dude.
yeah. No, he was from season 2 through season 7. Before that, it was Dan Briggs.
Oh, okay. Well, man, that show really went on a long time, huh?
7 seasons, yeah.
That's
And
pretty
then
good
came
run.
back for like in the 80s for like 2 more seasons on a different network.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. But I
Uh,
guess it didn't get much reruns or something. Like it's weird that I had no,
I'm sure it had a Nick at Night run, but
you
I was
think? I
more
don't
into
know.
watching Cheers. So I wasn't
Right.
watching hour-long shows. That's the thing. It was an hour long.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, it's tough to find, if you weren't the Incredible Hulk or a Who Done It show.
Yeah.
I guess the reruns didn't weren't as kind to it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we first see Jim Phelps, played by John Voight, uh, on a plane, presumably flying back from his training mission in Chicago, caressing a picture of his wife Claire until the flight attendant approaches him and asks, "Would you like to watch a movie, Mr. Phelps? I prefer the theater. Would you consider the cinema of the Ukraine?
Ukraine.
Perhaps you'll choose one for me."
You gotta
Feels
love
like
like
Phelps should have had a window seat to keep prying eyes from, or maybe he's worried about the reflection. I don't know.
I don't know, but
Maybe it's
like
just a
he
tiny
doesn't
ass
have anyone
screen.
next to him either, right? Like, and he's just got a pack of cigarettes ready to go in case this he's got a self-destructive tape. Um, man, and it's like, oh man, guys, we can't smoke on the plane anymore. We got to come up with some other creative ways to get these missions to us.
Well, it's funny. I was watching early episode, I think like season one, episode three of Mission Impossible today. I was looking at a list, said like, here's the best episodes. So I was like, all right, I'll go with that.
Right.
And the first time the guys Briggs was in charge of like destroying the mission tape himself. By the time and then I watched season, I don't know, another season three, episode one, and Phelps had this self-destructing tape. And I was like, oh, it just goes up in smoke.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's good for the player in the airplane though.
Mm, no. That airline must be pissed.
Right? Like who's in
Yeah.
charge of cleaning that shit up? That's not good.
Yeah. The hell happened here? Like just falling.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, well, Jim reveals to Ethan that he's alive after supposedly dying in the beginning of the movie. He tries to pin everything on Kittredge, like we said, and Jim theorizes why Kittredge would betray his country, and he cites tired of being told what to do by people who don't know better for little money. And damn, Jim, $62,000 a year in 1996 is almost $124,000 a year in today's money. And you were married to Emmanuel Barrett on top of it. You were doing just fine, you traitorous son of a bitch.
Although he says lousy marriage too. So clearly he's saying this is Kitcher's point of view, but yeah, you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
can get the
you get the vibe. That's why he's doing
vibe
what he
it's
did.
actually him. Yeah, that's why he's doing this. Yeah, I agree. And it's so telling too when you're like he's just a man in the chair for the mission
Yeah.
and he's so like I don't know, like he's very like he's just very straight up like in the chair and like barely moves and emotes. Cut the
Mm-hmm.
power. Cut the power. Like is like the most he gets. Otherwise like it seems so I don't know, maybe in the chaos like he feels he doesn't have to put up a better performance or maybe he's not the performance guy. That's why it's Ethan that does the performance stuff. You know what I mean? It just seems so it's
He definitely
interesting.
does have in the show. He definitely has to perform a lot.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it's weird that opening scene. You could almost say he's in shock and go it that way. But now you're watching it now and you know him, he's being a traitor's bitch. You're like, okay, so he's
Yeah.
just going through the motions. The only thing that's kind of like surprising to him is when the chair falls over. He's like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, who cares, right? Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
But yeah, I guess the people who watched the TV show were furious. The original cast was furious.
Yeah.
They tried to get them back, some of them, a lot of them back, like Martin Landau and all the other ones that were, yeah, we'll kill you off in the beginning of the movie. And they're like, what? No, we're not. And apparently, according to Martin Landau, like the original script was like really action heavy. He's like, that is not the point of that was not our show. We got in
Yeah.
and got out, and you never knew we were there. That was what was so brilliant about it.
Yeah.
It was all about tension.
Well, that's
Um,
clearly, I feel like they got more of that in this movie for
I agree.
sure. That goes way off the rails in the later movies,
Yeah.
especially in the second one.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's an interesting change that they made, but I don't know. Like I think it's still pretty respectful because I think a lot of this is tension based.
I agree.
It's a lot less action
But I think
in
if
this
you
movie.
spent like 7 seasons watching Jim Phelps as your hero, it's I guess
Yeah,
it's
no,
rough
I
to
would
see him like all of
imagine.
a sudden like he's starting out like he's talking about his wife like Claire was never convinced her charms would work on you, but I was supremely confident, having tasted the goods.
Yeah, no, he's like
Damn,
gone.
Jim.
Yeah, he's really gone villain. Like,
Yeah.
wow. What's what the so he planted the Bible from the Drake Motel?
Hotel.
That's what I said.
I thought you said motel. Sorry.
Oh no. So he planted the Bible himself?
He planted. Okay, yeah, he
Or
planted that Bible in Prague. For
right.
some reason, Ethan decides to hold on to that Bible and bring it with him wherever he goes. because he doesn't even notice it's stamped until he gets to London. So I'm like, why would he bring that Bible? Like, it's not hard to find a Bible. There's always a Bible everywhere you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he grabs the one off the shelf in Prague, and that's when he first starts using it to
And it's
investigate. But
positioned
yeah,
exactly in front of where the computer is to make sure that Ethan,
yeah, because you get that whole like head turn, like, huh,
Job
uh,
314.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I also find it weird, like, not that he like didn't look into it sooner on the cover, but like so like Jim is just carrying around this one Bible that he got at the hotel.
Well, it's in it, yeah, because they're going into a safe house. So he has to, there's not going to be an obvious Bible. So he's just going to put it right in front of the computer so that Ethan can see it when he starts like looking for stuff. Because they already tip off the Job 314 or Job 314 in the mission briefing in the beginning of the movie.
I thought that came from Kittredge, the job reveal.
You might be right. I don't know. It's definitely something that he knew that Ethan was going to have.
Yeah, I guess I just don't
But
know why he wanted Ethan to have that Bible. Like
well, it wasn't that specific Bible. He just wanted to make sure that he put the Bible in front of it at the computer so that he would
right.
see it when he's trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, but why?
Well, this is where things get a little weird because he assumed the mission. Jim must have assumed that the not this was a mole hunt
You
and that the
think?
real
Okay. So
must
they're
because
on to him.
honestly, it's insane that the IMF team didn't realize that they weren't going to let Galitzin have the real knock list.
Yeah.
Like not even for a second. That would not be something they would let out into the open for a half a second.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, Jim was the mastermind of it all. Anyway,
Yeah, so I guess like it's just it's a weird long play to be like, okay, I'm gonna plant this Bible. This is obviously a mole hunt, and I'm gonna use Ethan to then get me the real necklace so that I can get the real money. It's like that's pretty
oh
galaxy
yeah,
brain kind of stuff. Like that's
that's
kind
Mission Impossible, baby.
That's nutty. That's a bit, and I don't know why. It never occurred to me. Like, I didn't think that was the situation. I just think it was like he thought he got away with it at first for like a while, right? That he just got away with it, and then, oh crap, it's actually not the knock list, and now I'm not going to get paid, and now I need, and so I felt like it was after the fact of like, all right, now I got to send my wife back in to try to do all this. Like, I didn't think it was all pre-planned this. Like, and it didn't occur to me till recently watching it, being like, wait a minute, so he planted the Bible to set this
Yes,
up?
he
Like,
planted the Bible. Yeah.
that's kind of nuts. Like, that's kind of dumb a little
Well,
bit.
he's the man who trained Ethan, so he knew him better than anybody.
Yeah.
Is best I can say.
But but he's also, I guess I would intimate too, this has got to be the first real leadership role for Ethan then.
Not necessarily, and I'll get into why that is later.
Okay.
I just want to point out too, I guess Phelps shoots Claire because she asked him not to kill Ethan.
How dare you?
Way he was talking,
Don't,
though,
Jim. Like he was so,
exactly.
yeah.
The don't Jim.
It seemed
Don't
like,
Jim.
yeah, like that's exactly that's how it came off. Like, how
Way he was
dare
talking
you?
about her though is probably going to kill her anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
didn't look like there was a third seat on that chopper, that helicopter.
no, and I don't know. I guess he used her, and that was it. Like he already felt it was a lousy marriage, and I don't know because clearly he knew it was going to work because you could see it in the beginning of the movie that there was a thing that was sort of there between Claire and Ethan.
There was supposed
So
to be
he
a full
clearly
on.
already knew it.
The movie was supposed to have a fuller triangle
Yeah.
and everything, but the test audiences didn't care for it, and it took people out of the movie. And good cut, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, although there's like a weird cutaway thing, it's like this probably would have normally led to a sex scene, but they like cut before anything could like progress there.
Right. Well, if you look in the
Like
trailer,
the
and I think
hand
also
caress moment.
right, if you
Yeah.
the trailer has them kissing, and then there's also in the opening credits, there's a shot of them kissing. So they decided to like get rid of all that. Trust me, I'm sure it hurt Brian De Palma's feelings worse than anybody to cut out a sex scene. But it
Fair.
just it just didn't fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I gave this category a 4, uh, mostly because of Kittredge. Uh,
Love yourself a cat. Yeah, I also went for.
See, in my opinion, Kittredge is a 5 and Jim Phelps is a 3. So,
Is that it? Well, I mean, I also counted Max in this category. So, I mean, it's weird because like again, like yeah, you don't really get Jim being that much of the antagonist for a good portion of this movie. You know what I mean? It comes to the end and there's like a ginormous part of this movie he's not in at all. So that's kind of where it gets a bit of a knock for me. But yeah, Kittredge is still fun. Max is a lot of fun, so that's why, yeah, 4.
um, oh man, I'm realizing I kind of messed all this stuff up.
What do you mean?
Because I'm looking at my next category, heist gadgets, and I only wrote up the gadgets, and I wrote up I wrote up the heists in the difficulty.
I can see there's some bleed through with that. So we're working out
Whoops,
some kinks. So
whatever, working on it.
yeah.
So let's just talk about the gadgets real
Okay.
quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
we get our first gadget reveal just minutes into the movie, and it's the mask.
Yeah.
The only gadget that
Kind of.
appears in every Mission Impossible movie
It's weird though, because like the mask is so different earlier in the movie,
is it's real.
and then takes its like normal version towards the end of the movie. You know what I mean? Like it's in the beginning of the movie, it's like just basically a lot of prosthetics and makeup on an actual actor, and it's like, it seems really convenient that everybody that Ethan has to impersonate happens to look like Tom Cruise.
Right, 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 right.
Which is kind of like funny, but then by the end of the movie, he looks like Jim like completely. You know what I mean? So there's no prosthetics or whatever. So it's like, oh, that's the traditional thing that we've gotten used to as the movies have gone on. But it's like it's definitely clear change through the just this one movie.
But that shot of Ethan taking off the mask for the first time,
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, for sure. And they will keep trying to do that over and over and over again throughout, the movie and the rest of the
And that
series.
opening scene with them, like, screwing with that Mark, the
Yeah.
Russian, thinking that he murdered a prostitute or
Clearly
something like
still
that.
Tom Cruise in prosthetics though, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, just
Yeah.
as bad as the senator.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's basically what every episode of Mission Impossible was, from what I can tell after watching 2 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, we're just gonna fake this guy out and think. But masked up Ethan gets to be a Russian policeman, an old Southern senator. Love you, Tom, but that Southern accent is atrocious, and it sucks that we have to hear it twice. Once the set,
Foghorn Leghorn or whatever is what he gets referred to as.
yeah, one Foghorn, but yeah, once he's a senator, and
Yeah.
again as a fireman, where he brings it back, like, oh, not again.
Yeah, it's really kind of like subtle. Like it's you don't get it as hard when he's doing the fireman thing because there's like all sorts of chaos going on and
Right,
the
right.
security cars are being a little bit louder. But yeah, like you do get it. It is a little bit there.
New respect for his Irish accent after hearing that Southern one.
Oh, far
And
and
finally,
away.
we get it masked up as Jim Phelps. Don't have the voice changer technology yet, so Ethan as Jim has to be
Yeah.
quiet. Uh,
Yeah, it
only
just sits there in silence.
only time in the movie, like Tim said, where Ethan takes off the face of a different actor, and it's still a really good effect.
Yeah, it
Um,
still works.
Shout out to Rob Bottin, who did the mask makeup effects in the first movie. Absolute goat of makeup technology.
Yeah.
I mean, he did the Howling, the Thing, a bajillion other things. Rob Bottin, I miss him desperately. Hollywood misses him desperately.
Yeah, it's legit good. Like you really can be like, oh well, yeah, that just happened, right? And yeah, the mask is weird though, because again, it's a little weird in this movie. And I guess the voice changing thing in the sequels is like this makes like I think at first I was upset by it when I first watched it when like the sequel first came out. I was like, what is this? But then you're like, no, this actually makes way more sense. um, to be able to have to like just logically with film logic or whatever, it makes more sense. But it is a weird transition in the movie with that mask.
Second gadget, we have glasses with a camera and a
Yeah,
walkie-talkie watch.
yeah,
It's like something out of Dick Tracy.
like an earpiece, and then you talk
Right.
into the watch and everything. It's like, wow, this is pretty high tech. Yeah.
Next gadget, get red light, green light gum. 5 second fuse. Hasta
That
lasagna.
one's
Don't get it on you.
Yeah, that one's top notch. That one's great.
Yeah.
I love that we do red light, green light multiple times basically.
Fuck yeah.
And it's both moments with that gum is insanely satisfying that
Hmm.
I'm sure we'll talk about later. So it's pretty good. There is like some kind of weird spray they use.
Next
Uh,
gadget, perfume used to mark
yeah,
target who can be identified with special sunglasses.
yeah, the glasses shade thing turns down or whatever, so she can see it or whatever. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was the next one I got too.
And technically, the last gadget, the magnetic screwdriver. I thought that
The-
shit.
Yeah, I mean they have like
I was
this
trying to think,
whole
like, does he use any other gadgets after that? Like, nah, it's pretty much it.
there's that thing that comes under to catch it
Yeah,
too, right? They have
I love it.
the reflective things for the lasers to shoot different ways. The whole harness contraption. They use those like suction cup things multiple times in this movie.
I was
Um,
laughing. It's like it's the exact same technology from Superman the movie.
yeah. I always think of that too when the guy's climbing the building and then he hits Superman's foot.
Yeah,
It's oh whatever moment. That movie's great.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't a gadget, but I want to mention it here because it's spycraft. The shot of Ethan coming up the circular stairs and then Ethan crushing a light bulb and spreading the glass in front of the door.
Is great.
Classic, great spy shit, and
Yeah.
looks beautiful. This whole movie is gorgeous,
Yeah.
amazing. Brian De Palma, the goat. I just
Yeah, you gotta love all the Dutch angle camera stuff that they
the
got
Dutch
going
angles, the
on.
split diopters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a really cool, and I guess that's like the like I don't even know if people if they go back that far in the series enough, like how different this movie is from the rest of them.
yeah.
Like it's nuts how different it is.
Here's this. This is the only time in the series where Ethan Hunt doesn't fire a gun.
That's definitely gonna change the next one.
Yep. It's just like he doesn't. There's no gunfights in this movie. He doesn't
Yeah,
fire a gun. It was like there was a time when this was completely different from the James Bond franchise, and then they're like, no, no, we're just gonna
you're
do the
just
same
gonna go
thing
for it. Yeah,
with less, style.
yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, but
Bigger stunts, less style. That's the
to be honest, yeah, it didn't need it, right? It still had still pretty good action, right? Still great action, still pretty tense moments, and you didn't need the gunfight stuff. So,
no.
you just need a helicopter. You can fight with a helicopter. You don't need a fight with a gun.
Just make sure you don't go too far.
Yeah,
Uh,
facial
so
awareness.
IMF team number one.
Wait, are
Oh
we
shoot, I forgot to score it. I
yeah,
gave the gadgets in this movie a 4.5. I think they were all so much fun.
that's exactly what I gave it as well, actually.
Look at that. All right.
I know, yeah. Pretty spot to go.
All right. The IMF, Ethan's crew.
Are we gonna go with first crew first
Yes,
before we get to the second crew,
that's
right?
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
because that's just a uniqueness of this one, right? You get two crews.
Yes. And actually, this is the first time I decided to pause and read all of the little bios that they have on Jim Phelps' screen.
Oh, really? Oh, look at you.
Yeah. I
Dedication.
nerded out a little bit. Uh, Ethan Hunt, aka Philip Duchette, played by Tom Cruise, is Jim Phelps' point man as usual,
Yeah.
trained by Jim Phelps. Tom Cruise magic tricks always a good time. Ethan Hunt sleight of hand
Close
expert.
magic. Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't get
I
used again until like the last movie.
think that's might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
don't
He
know.
doesn't really use
We'll
close
have to
magic
rewatch all
much.
the movies to make
Yeah,
sure
that's that
it's
we
true.
will. We have to. We are.
uh, Ethan's mom's name, middle name is Ethan.
Maybe she took a last name as a middle name.
No,
Last name Ethan.
when they arrest her, they whatever her name is, she's like Janet Ethan Hunt. And they're like, why is her middle name Ethan?
I I don't know.
First time I caught that Ethan is from Wisconsin.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's a Badger, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that's pretty much all we really get to know about Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, we don't like find out any more of a backstory again until probably the newest movie, where you kind of like get this little hint of like a lot of the IMF were maybe former
Criminals. Yeah.
criminals. And so he might have been a former criminal thief at some point before joining the IMF. This is the you kind of got that gist, but we don't know more than that. I got maybe
Yeah.
we
In the original show, like there was only one member who was like a former criminal
yeah.
and master of disguise, and that was like Martin Landau's part, which then became Leonard Nimoy's part afterwards. Uh,
Yeah.
and then everyone else was like a famous actress or so, or like a person who was like had their own technology company, and another guy was a race car driver, and like they would just grab like civilians and bring them into the IMF to do the
It's a
missions that
weird
only they could
thing,
do.
right? Because it's like I think that's like one of the things you can kind of get after for this series is its backstory and lore for the IMF is like all over the place.
Doesn't
And
make any sense.
it changes constantly from
Like in
movie
this
to
movie,
movies.
there's like little to no difference between the IMF and the
The
CIA.
CIA, yeah, they're like the same. Since apparently,
Exactly.
according to this movie, the CIA basically trained the IMF.
Right.
Right. And then like in later movies there it's a very distinct thing that's part of the government but as a separate
They have their own
branch.
building, I think. I don't in the third
Yeah.
one, I don't know.
All of a sudden there's directors and all of a sudden of it, right? And then all of a sudden we need to close them down and now all of a sudden it's like, no, we just drop off a name or something
We're
and
a
they
rogue
take care of it.
organization. Yeah.
And then
It's
it's
like,
like that and that's been the recent one. It's like, what, we've changed it again?
yeah.
Like how many times are we changing this?
I don't
Who's
know. It's
running this? It's a
thank
pet peeve, but I could let it go because there's so much greatness of
I'm
the
just
series.
grateful
But
we don't
it's
have any more British people running the IMF. That bothered me.
yeah, we had a run of that. Yep.
Um, next, we have Sarah Davies, aka Sarah Walker, played by Kristen Scott Thomas, who is already undercover at the American Embassy.
Yeah.
She was trained by Jim Phelps and Ethan Hunt,
Hmm.
according to her file. So I guess that explains why he feels a little more protective and about her, which is why, like in the elevator, when
That date with Sarah is off because I was always
yeah,
confusing because I was like,
so
wait,
did I. I'm
that
like, who the
there's
fuck
no
are you?
romance there, so I'm confused.
Right. So that's why he just. I guess that's his little sister, even though she's a year older than him, according to the file. I
Okay.
think they're the same age in real life, but Tom, I guess, had a little vanity there. He's like, no, no, I'm younger than her. Jack Harmon, aka Tony Beretta, played by Emilio Estevez,
Amelia.
who can hack into any security system, trained by Jim Phelps.
The mighty duck man himself.
I love in the beginning where like Jack's all worried for Claire and enjoys watching Ethan slap the dupe around.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he's like, ooh,
Yeah,
ooh. And he's like, ah, like and then what is he? I forget the language or whatever. He's Astruvia or whatever. He's like cheers that he drinks
yeah,
himself. Like it what a smart casting idea.
right.
Because at this point in time, Emilio is still a name. Right.
Yeah, he's still leading movies, and then all of a sudden he's in this movie and he dies, and then he doesn't lead movies anymore. It's like he just disappears. What happened?
Yeah. But it's like it must have I mean yeah, like I knew who he was. It's like, oh my God, he died. Like I was shocked
You can
when it
almost
happened.
say it was like returning the favor after Tom Cruise dies early in the original Young Guns.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we get Jack calling Ethan Foghorn when he's doing his senator character,
Yeah.
and I love Ethan and Sarah ragging on him for his work.
Yeah, and it's a nice butt, it's a lonely butt, or whatever. There's like a lot of fun playfulness going on, and again,
Yeah,
like as you already did the hasta lasagna, don't get any on you joke, right? Like he
Emilio is
does a
just easy to
lot.
like.
He does a lot with a very small role. It's
Yep,
kind of crazy, even when he's doing like the gadget rundowns on stuff, right? Like in such a short amount of time, like it's a sad death. Like it's like, oh my
it's
gosh,
stunning and brutal, and
brutal.
it's a really smart choice because it makes you think that anybody can die, especially
Yeah.
with Jim Phelps also dying like on this.
Yeah,
You're like,
here's a
oh well, I
major
guess it.
character from the first one who's dead, apparently, right?
I watched that got shoved into Emilio Estevez's eye. He is definitely dead. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah.
assuming Jim Phelps must be dead too.
They should like that's a brutal death.
Smart.
Like you kind of get quick glimpses of clearly Sarah getting stabbed a whole lot too, so that's pretty brutal. Um, Hannah, which I'm assuming we'll talk about,
Right
um,
now.
gets blown up. I guess we don't get to see that as much, so that's not as brutal. But then Jim's final death is pretty brutal too.
Oh, where he falls down and the helicopter falls
Well,
on him.
they show the helicopter like boom, like
I like
like
that
he
there's like a
got
little sound where he's like,
smashed.
oh.
Yeah, like dude got smashed into that rail.
So you got Hannah Williams, aka Pauline Brady, played by Imborga Dapkuna. I can't say her name. I'm sorry. Uh,
Sorry.
she handles surveillance. She is like she's from the Soviet Union or something. I could not. Yeah, God bless. Maybe I forget which. Trained by Alejandro Daniel Soria. I wonder which version of Hannah's death is real. Do you think Claire or Phelps killed her?
That's a great question. And I like to it's a really nice moment too where he's like, oh no, he could have done it himself or whatever. And then you have this shot of Jim kind of going, hmm? Like he does this little motion like, I don't know. And then that's the moment where I'm like, well, maybe he's wrong. Maybe Claire really did it. But I don't know because you don't clearly Claire has a thing for Ethan too. That's why don't Jim comes up. But I mean, this is pretty messed up stuff for her to be able to do too,
I
with the
think
clear
she killed her
conscious. I think so too, because it
because
would have been pretty difficult to time that
that's where
falling
I'm
off the
at. Like he's got
bridge
to fall off the bridge, correlate, get back onto the land, and then press the
and
buttons.
have a device that is either waterproof or waiting for him under the bridge.
Yeah, so I think she
Um,
killed her.
I think you might be right. I think that's the one that makes the most sense.
Hmm.
Because in that moment, he probably knew correctly that it was Claire. But then again, he was, as you kind
He's
of
not
get
sure
later, he's
until the end.
still not sure that if she's really guilt or innocent. He likes her.
Right.
So that's why he basically gave her the better diet. He's like, oh no, he could have done it himself. And it's like, nah. And I think that's why you get that Jim look going like, yeah, Claire did it.
Speaking of Claire, Claire Phelps, aka Marjorie Gardner, played by Emmanuel Bear. She handles transport. She was trained by Jonathan Smith. Ethan, the money.
The money.
Barrett's delivery there will always like stay with
Yeah.
me forever. I don't know what it
She
is.
has a few line deliveries that it's just interesting, like her 4 o'clock rant is fun too, you know what I mean?
400, 4 o'clock. Yeah, she's very
Yeah.
French.
Very, very French. Yeah.
So let's get into IM. She's very pretty. Manuel Barrett, very pretty.
She's very pretty, yeah.
IMF team number two. You got
Yeah.
Luther Stickle, played by Ving Rhames, aka the Net Ranger, Phineas Freak, the only man alive who actually hacked NATO GhostCon, and there was never any physical evidence that it had anything to do with that exceptional piece of work.
I really wanted to do that end part, but you beat me to the way he delivers that is so good because he's like he wants to
Yeah,
stick it there, but then he's like,
everything to do
but
with it.
but
That
thank you.
exceptional piece of work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because it was pretty awesome, wasn't it? Right? Yeah, it was a nice moment. Um, man, this movie made me fall in love with Ving Rhames.
Yeah, apparently they casted him because they just wanted somebody who didn't look like a normal hacker,
Yeah.
in these roles. So it's like, oh, okay, it's smart.
Yeah, and I swear I feel like every Mission Impossible movie that has more Ving Rhames in it are the better ones. Um, so I think
Well,
most of them.
part four is pretty great.
The relationship
Ghost Protocol.
between Vin Rhames and Ethan there, or Vin Rhames and Tom Cruise, should I say, is just good.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good, nice, playful banter back and forth. Um, Even at the end of the movie is kind of fun between the two of them. Like, I'm gonna miss being reputable.
Disreputable. Yeah.
Disreputable, sorry. Because he's off the disavowed list. Like I
Right.
loved all of that back and forth is great.
Yeah, I love Ving Rhames in these movies. I really do.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled to see him come back at the end of four, where it's like, oh,
I'm
And
I'm
then,
worried because like I'm like in this last movie, I would rather see Ethan die if you're gonna go the Bond route than Ving Rhames. So if you kill off Ving Rhames and Luther, that's probably gonna hurt the most.
well, you kill off Ving Rhames, there's a chance you still make more Mission Impossible movies. You kill off Tom Cruise, that's really the end.
Yeah,
Uh,
which I think is it. I think this is it. I honestly, I
Probably.
think this is it for him.
Uh, you got Krieger, played by Jean Reno. He can get anything like thinking machine laptops, 686 prototypes, the artificial intelligence risk chip. Just 24 hours for him.
Yeah.
I miss Jean Reno in movies. I don't know why
He
he's not in
he made
American
it
movies
more
anymore.
difficult at first, but then he's like, okay, 24 hours, I can do it. Yeah. I agree. This is like in the heyday for him. This is like the
Right,
height
yeah.
basically for him.
From the
Um,
professional on, he's just like in every other American movie. He's just always popping up and he's
yeah, I don't know
fantastic.
what happened. I'm trying to think what was the last thing I remember really seeing him pop. Was he did he even no, I don't know. He wasn't in a Bourne movie. He should have been in a Bourne movie.
He should have been in a
Um,
Bourne movie. You're right.
yeah, he would have fit in perfectly with a Bourne movie. I don't know, and it is disappointing because I've always liked him in everything.
Literally everything, and he's funny
Yeah,
too. I mean,
he
he
did that. Oh,
really
I know the
is.
last thing. He randomly popped in Animusha 3, the video game
That was the last thing you think you saw him
that
in?
I remember seeing him in. Yeah, unless I'm mistaken, but like it's crazy. He's doing a video game. Like this dude is awesome.
Couples Retreat was probably the last time I saw him in a movie.
Oh, good call. Forgot about that. Yep. He has a nice part there. I forgot about
Small
that.
part, but yeah,
Small, yeah. Um, yeah, he's great in this movie.
it's funny and intimidating.
It's kind of nuts that he has the muscle to hold on to Tom Cruise and
Well, he's
lift
a little
him,
guy.
lifting him and lowering him like that. Like, I mean, yeah, Tom Cruise is not that big, but like that's still impressive.
Yeah,
Like I never would have thought like think, oh man, John Rowe, that's a real fit dude. Like I you know what I mean? Like it was just like this is the first time watching him like, huh, I'm not so sure.
I'll get into my issues with that heist in a little bit,
Fair enough.
which are very, very small.
Yeah, I would
And
hope so.
this is where I wrote up not part of the crew, nor is she your villain. But special shout out to Vanessa Redgrave as Max, who just always playful flirting movie. Yeah. I enjoyed Max making the combination of the briefcase 314
Yeah. Oh, just the delivery.
was
I
cute.
I think that's what I
And then Max flirting with Kittredge. I'm sure we can find something I have you need.
oh yeah.
It's
Oh
almost
my
like a Catwoman like
yeah.
delivery throughout
Oh,
the
for
movie.
sure. I think it's a good point. Yeah, it's a good poll. You know, the way she, it's like ah, but my dear boy or whatever,
Yeah.
and I love too the like she already knew he was not Job, and like he's kind of like, oh, you didn't know that was Job or whatever, and then she's like, well, you were playful, Job, not play, and like going through that
Quoting
whole
scripture,
yeah,
Job never does. Yeah.
and it's like a great deliveries there, good
hmm
villain.
So I gave this crew a 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 5.
Fair.
I thought there's rare you get two different crews, and they're all freaking great. To be honest, there are some kind of whatever no name-ish people in the first crew or so, but like
Right.
I thought you still had so much star freaking power out of both crews. I mean, technically you would still count Jim in that first crew too. Um,
You
although
know
he's
what?
just a
You're
man
right.
in a
I'm going
chair.
up to 5.
Okay, thank you.
You're absolutely right.
It's like, man,
All right. So impossible. How impossible was it? The stunts in the mission.
yeah. I think in theory it should be the most impossible, right?
Breaking into Langley.
Langley, right?
Well, that's not even that's the second mission. Let's start with the first mission
I know.
first.
I'm just saying that should be the most, right? But I'm just saying in general for this category, I feel like after everything we're going to see, which maybe I shouldn't do, but I'm everything we're going to see in this franchise is like maybe it's not the most difficult because I know what's going to go in the future. So this is what's the problem that I'm going to have in this category.
Fair. It's more. I'm just going for how much did I enjoy all this. And
Ah, I do enjoy the heck out of it.
so the first mission is to get a recording of the traitor Galitzin making a copy of the Noclus, the non-official cover identities of CIA agents.
Yeah.
The IMF plan to sneak into the embassy by having Ethan impersonate a senator who could conceivably be allowed to tour is a pretty smart plan, but it's insane that the team could think for a second that Galitzin would be allowed to steal a real list.
Yeah. And
Uh,
why would it be in Prague?
decent. Well, because I guess there's this terminal there that they do. I don't know that the
I guess.
Galitzin had
Yeah.
access to. Escape under the elevator was a nice touch. I liked that part.
Yeah.
Using the bad guy's own escape plan. Um, Jack's death, so brutal and shocking. The other IMF team is so cleverly hinted at throughout the opening heist sequence.
Yeah.
Like when they flash back to it, show them the other IMF team.
Yeah.
Like it's all there. Like
Yeah. Follow me around the room.
it's not like they were off screen and they were like, oh, and there they were. It's
Yeah.
like no, they were always right there in
They
the
were always
background.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
You like when you're watching Hannah on the stairs, you're like, oh yeah, that is bow tie 12 o'clock right there. Like
right.
before it gets pointed out to you. Like, I think you could always kind of like get even from an earlier watch, like what's up with this drunk couple? They're
Yeah, that's
clearly
the most obvious one.
it's like a
Just when the guy,
crazy
one guy
obvious
that
one.
puts
Yeah.
here it is. But
The
yeah,
rest of them as you're watching them go around the restaurant, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't pick up on all those. Like,
hmm.
yeah.
Um, it looks like Sarah's about to be attacked by Jack the Ripper or a werewolf when she's tailing Galitzin by herself.
Yeah, and like she's the one that's apprehensive, like we're supposed to abort, but then she decides to go for it anyway. And it's such a weird moment because like she clearly is a good enough distance away seeing this dude get stabbed to death. How the hell did she end up getting herself stabbed to death too?
She like approaches that gate where the guy is getting stabbed to death. Like, hmm?
Yeah, like it's just so weird. Let me get like the first guy getting stabbed to death makes sense, right? He asks for a light, he goes in, and then his arm gets grabbed and then stabbed. Like all of that
Right.
tracks and makes sense.
Yeah.
Her stabbing to death makes no
Why would
sense.
she ever get that close? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got Jim Phelps dying. Ethan.
Ethan.
It
It's so over the top.
is.
Ethan.
Uh,
I
we only
love too the when you see the other camera angle and you see him wearing the glasses and he's looking up and he's
yeah,
like lathering
searching for
himself up
with the
and
blood.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, ooh, like it gets kind of good.
Um, we only see Hannah get into the car right before it explodes, and in fact, she's
Mhm.
like kind of looking around. It's like almost she's looking for Claire. Like, where's Claire?
Yeah.
So the camera makes sure to give a good shot of the knife that Sarah's killed with. This is like there's
Yep.
no cheats in the scene. It's really great.
Yeah. And again, you get another view of that knife too when he does stop Krieger from killing the guard too. So
Exactly.
they keep coming back to it. And so it makes sense when you're like, well, how long did you know? Well, I've known for a long time. Like he's kind of been up to it for a bit. It's again, it was about Claire and figuring that part out.
Right. The Arcvarium is such a ridiculous idea for a restaurant, especially considering the size.
Yeah, and it's clearly
But
like stage.
holy
But
shit, it does film beautifully. It fits like
oh,
five
so
tables in there, but like
yeah,
it's gorgeous.
so cool.
I'd like to see that restaurant's lesson business plan. Like, how are you staying in business with five tables? Why
It's
are you using
like
all this space for
yeah,
fish?
the best of the best food, and like I only serve a certain amount of people a night, and I'm
Yeah,
only open a
right.
short amount of hours. And like yeah, three waiters maybe tops. But
Um,
yeah, like it's a crazy restaurant. But again, the whole build up, that whole
well, this is
conversation.
where I wanted to talk about it too. That
Oh,
conversation, which is excite this conversation between where they're just sitting down talking at each other.
yeah. But the
It
music too, the music and the editing does a crap ton.
and the camera.
Yeah.
Like they have these tight close-ups on Ethan and Kittredge's face from a low Dutch angle, while Ethan lists off who the other IMF team is, letting you know Ethan is not to be fucked with, and something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
And then Zerny's hand like leaves his face when he comes clean, and then he gets the low angle shot now because like when they're doing low angle shot on Tom when he's telling like the other IMF team,
Yeah.
doing all that like he's in charge, he's in powerful, and
Right.
like when you go cutting to Zerny, their Kittredge, it's like hitting him straight on. But then Kittredge reveals that what's actually going on, and then he gets the low angle shot because he is the one in power,
Right.
and giving Ethan the lowdown, like the whole operation is a mole hunt, and it's just like filmmaking.
Yeah, you love you. Yeah, you gotta love Ethan. It goes back to Ethan. Oh, Operation Symbol, like, oh my God, and
The mole's deep inside, like you
yeah,
said, you
I-
survived.
yeah, and I love what was like, what was the line? Something about like if you're gonna dance the devil, I'm gonna make sure you do it in hell. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my God, it's so such a good line. It's such a good delivery, and then
dying
that's
slowly in America is still a very expensive proposition.
yeah, still true to this day, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta love, and then the slow motion, he knocks the water over as
Well,
he
before
does the
that,
red
you get
light,
the
green
iconic
light.
line.
Yes,
I can understand you're very upset. Kittredge,
Kittredge.
you've never seen me very upset.
Yeah,
And that's where he slaps
yeah,
the gum through the water so it gets nice and sticky.
yeah.
And just like the shot of the waiter's face when he's like,
Oh, yeah. It's definitely like a "oh, I'm dead" moment, basically.
he goes
And he
flying
just gets
through.
shot back.
Yeah.
And you gotta love how again this was practical stuff.
Yep.
And I love
They,
this is like one of the first behind the scenes like making I think it was like an HBO making of
yeah.
thing that I remember so clearly because like I'm them interviewing Tom Cruise be like I've never read so fast in my life like because this water was really coming out behind me kind of stuff.
they they tried to shoot it with a stunt. De Palma tried to do it with the stuntman first, and he's like, yeah, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look good.
Yeah,
And it's like, Tom, would you mind giving it a shot? And he's like, yeah. Tom, the producer, his first time producer, like, let's go.
let's
So
do
like,
it.
yeah, let's nobody talk to him about the broken glass. It's gonna be coming all over him, and like all these gallons of water they could drown him. It's like just like fucking run, buddy.
Just book it.
Yeah,
And he does, and oh my gosh,
the
it
first
is so
iconic
good.
run of the series.
Yes, without although there is a bit of running for him.
That's the
Uh
run.
it
That's the
is
best
the
run.
it
We'll get
is
into
the run.
the run later
Yes.
on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
spoiling the category.
The category, yep.
The second mission is to sneak into the CIA headquarters and steal the real knock list. The CIA vault looks like something out of Star Wars, and I
Which
love it.
Kittredge tells him where it really is too in that
Right? Yeah.
scene. So thank you, Kittredge.
I love especially the pressure sensor floors that light up.
Yeah,
Like
that's where you get the Star Wars thing from.
like
Yeah.
well, everything looks like Star Wars in there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like the pressure sensor floors like light up like a morbid Billie Jean video in like blood red.
Yeah. Well, if something touched right, and they have that whole like the dew from the cup dropping and hitting
Yeah.
and it all turns red. Yeah.
This is where I talked about the suction jump technology. Love Luther's greeting to the dot on his screen after the poor tech worker, Donahue, Donlow,
Hello.
comes. Hello, hi there.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Hi there. Hi there.
Toast, toast.
Yep.
No music during the actual heist, though. Once they actually get
You
into the
get it
vault,
as they start to suction cup, which is kind of fun.
right?
But
But once
yes,
they're
but
in
yeah,
the
then it
vault,
goes
no
yeah.
music. It just raises
Because
the tension even more.
exactly. The and you gotta love, especially too, when he's like he gets up in there too, because he's like from here on out, because he's so frustrated with Krieger, like
Absolute silence.
absolute silence, and he's just goes in, and you're just like, it's iconic. It's iconic him and the wire
Well,
thing.
before we get into that, what do you think William Donlow does all day?
I don't know.
So, because like all of this thing is like it's a terminal for where the list is. Like, what's he do? Just sits there and like, yeah, list's still there.
This guy's no longer in, so let me erase his information. This is a new guy. Let me add his stuff, I guess. I don't know.
I just like
But
I just
again,
look at it like, huh? What?
here we are where I guess
Is there anything else on this thing or
The IMF and the CIA are basically the same, and all of IMF stuff say
right?
the CIA, but we don't. That's not the thing later. I don't know. It's weird. Again,
Do you think there's other things on that computer besides
I would
the
hope
knock list?
so. I would hope he's got other things he's got to do. Maybe it's
So
a
I just
severance
confirm
kind
that
of
the list's
thing.
still there. Yeah, right. The work is mysterious and important.
Yeah, you just gotta have to feel it and put it in that box.
That's
That's
right.
it.
That'd be great. Um, Only reason Ethan is wearing glasses in this scene is to so the sweat can drip off them. Maybe he got LASIK after part one. Oh,
No.
am I wrong?
Yeah.
When is
If you notice when that's how Krieger knows how to lower him because in the vent when Krieger's holding on the rope, he's looking at a little computer screen.
That's okay. That's smart.
So that's
I
how
missed
he
that.
knows how to lower him. Otherwise, how
That's
would he
great.
know? Because he
I
can't.
just
Ethan
assumed from the
can't
audio.
talk.
You're right.
Ethan can't talk because the toast thing. So
That's it. Okay.
he's lowering him, and he can see by the glasses where he needs to bring him up or
I
down.
didn't pick up on that. That's smart. Okay.
Yeah,
There you go. Well, it's still great.
it is great. It's great. Oh my gosh, when the rat comes in,
Another
and
split diopter shot to the
it's
rat. I
you
love that
gotta.
Nick Dahl was like, I can't help myself. I'm doing it
Jean
again.
Reno is so great in that
So
moment because
funny.
he's so like, absolutely not. Like, and then you see the poor dead rat
Right.
afterwards.
Well, then you got Tom going like 2 inches from the ground.
Oh yeah, and
And
he's got the he's like trying to like cover like oh my gosh the core like strength for that, but also the upper body to just hold it there.
I would have loved to have seen like the guy who had to figure out like exactly how to make that stop on a dime. And
Yeah.
apparently, I just like they must have had just some poor stuntman who had to do that for a few times before they got it just right for Tom. Like, nope. Tom Cruise apparently hit his head multiple times until he figured out that he needed to like put like coins in his shoes to balance him out so that he would stay
Oh yeah, I feel like I remember hearing that. Yeah, that's crazy.
flat. um, yeah. Anyway, where the sweat comes though off the glasses, then he has to
Yeah.
catch it with his hand when he's like 2 inches from the
That's
floor.
crazy. Yeah. How do you get the how is there enough room? Like I don't good thing we didn't see a far away shot of that. That's
Still, every
nuts.
time he catches it, I'm like, yes, he
Oh
got
yeah, because again, the tension of seeing the drip come down his glasses, and you're just like, oh my god, oh my god.
after we've already seen what a drop of water will do, kind of sort of
Right.
thing. And then the knife hitting the table shot.
Yeah, at the right time of when the door opens and then it's great.
It's beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
Um,
And I forget Krieger says something smart ass to him too right before it happens. I can't remember what it is, but it's another moment too where Tom Cruise
does
gives
he just
another.
say thank you in French or something like that?
No, I thought it was something about like not a cakewalk or something, not a piece of cake or
Okay.
something like that. And then that happens, and I felt like it was another movement of like Ethan being like, God, this freaking guy, like,
So the next part, I looked it up, and the channel train hits a maximum of 100 miles per hour. Both trains in Japan go twice that speed. Fastest train in America goes in between the two, but only for
yeah,
about 40 some odd miles of its 200-mile trip
we're like
allowed to hit
trying,
150.
right? Aren't we like trying to build our first real one between LA and Vegas? It's still under construction. It's like a first real one that we're trying now.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get excited about rail travel in this country until I actually see it happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, what's sad is that's like it's the first real attempt. It's like what year now, right? So it's kind of insane. But yeah,
um, so yeah, you got the Phelps takes the money, kills Claire, gets up on top of the train to go and meet Krieger with the helicopter and Ethan in pursuit.
I
The effects
the
of this,
filmmaking here is like I love him coming to. I love the sound here where you hear the hearing everything open, and then uh, the it's weird because the special effects I think what you're gonna get to like they look dated
I don't think
but
so. I think they hold up
still
really well.
you didn't let me get to finish like there's clearly a datedness to it but at the same time it's amazing the way they shot it because like you got so much CGI going but at the same time they are effective at bringing a physicality to make it feel
It's not
real.
CGI like the way we know it today. It's
Right,
still blue screen.
right,
It's they did this on Pinewood Studios for the Bond studio,
right.
and they made the train and put up blue screens, and there
But
you
that's
go.
what I'm saying. Like there's such a
Oh
practicality feel to it.
yeah, no, because he's
Um,
literally on a train. He's just not
right,
actually moving, but it's
right.
they got the giant wind turbines going at them and everything. It looks great.
It just feels like
The
there's
only
so much
time
force.
the only time where yeah, no, absolutely. The only time where it doesn't look fantastic is when you look at Krieger in the helicopter from a
Yeah.
distance. It's like,
Or when the helicopter's going into the tunnel, like for the first
right.
time, kind of deal. Like, yeah, there's some parts that don't exactly like go well, but like, man, it's incredibly well done. So it's weird to me. So I can kind of see its datedness, but at the same time, like, wow, it's so well done that it still holds.
Ethan shouting at Krieger when he hooks the chopper to the train is a series favorite moment for me.
Ah!
Yeah, he just like hooks it on and just turns on. Ah!
What is it? John Boy
Yeah,
just kicks him, right? Jim just like
yeah, he kicks him over the
hits him.
side.
But I love too, like the whole idea of him just being like letting go and just freaking torpedo kicking him, and then yeah,
Right.
then anchoring it. It's such a cool little moment. Yeah, and then like again, again it's tension, right? It's like, is he gonna get his foot on the little door hinge in time before the train comes to flip himself back over? Like
Yeah.
it's not a traditional action. It's just, but it's like gets
Yeah,
you
no, it
feeling
gets
that,
definitely gets the blood racing.
gets the people
Uh,
going.
if I'm Jim at that moment, I'm just gonna take my chances on the train with Ethan rather than try to get on that helicopter until after the tunnel.
It's
Like,
pretty right?
why
Yeah.
are you jumping on, dog? Just sit and wait. Like,
Well, you see the conductor dude in the back, like, no, there's a helicopter. No, speed up.
yeah, yeah. Um, the red light, green light. Ethan smashing the gum on the helicopter and jumps. And as the chopper explodes, the force of the explosion pushes him back onto the train, and the helicopter blades come within an inch of his neck for the second time in less than a
Yeah.
minute.
But it's interesting because there's clearly had been no thinking. Because did he plan, obviously, for the force of an explosion to launch him back onto the train because they're far enough away? So
Mm-hmm.
if that did not blow at the right time, he just falls and dies.
Yep. So even though I think all this stuff is perfect, I still took it down a notch because I know of all the action that we have upcoming.
Yeah, exactly what my problem with it
So
was.
I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, weird. I probably went even lower. That's crazy. I went three.
Well, the filmmaking of this stuff is so good
It
too,
is.
and I can't stress enough how much I love Brian De Palma and how much like
Yeah.
they never
It's
let a
yeah.
director of his standard ever go into these movies again, and you feel
Yeah.
it throughout.
And again, like it's like
And like, no, that's not, listen, I love John Woo. J.J. Abrams is fine. A lot of the directors in these movies have been very good. But
right.
like Brian De Palma is,
Brian De
for lack of a better
Palma.
word, for pardon the pun, untouchable.
Brian De Palma is like cinema.
That's right.
Like he's like film cinema kind of dude. And I feel like but these other people know their craft too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different. And I feel like too, again, the franchise becomes very, very different right away after this one. And so it's like a nature of the category, I think. Like I think in myself in my own rankings, like I don't know how I'm not gonna put this one as my number one. The era it came out in, the time of my life, all that kind of stuff, and how much this movie is phenomenal on so many other levels. It's gonna be hard to not put this one,
Yeah.
but also in the nature of like just the category that we kind of put it here, like there's going to be so much more insane, impossible stuff and
Yeah.
way crazier stuff going on later on. So it was kind of it was hard to put this category that much higher.
Yeah. So my final score then is a 17 and a half.
Geez, hold
Forgot
on.
to dial it up, huh?
I did.
All right. Well, while you're doing the calculations,
Yeah, do your thing.
George Clooney was apparently offered the part of Ethan Hunt, but he turned it down due to work on One Fine Day.
Interesting.
Bruce Willis, John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, Ray Fiennes, and Mel Gibson were later considered for the part before Tom Cruise got into it. Jean
Uh,
Claude Van Damme apparently also considered for the role of Ethan Hunt, but Van Damme says he turned it down. I don't know if that's true.
yeah, yeah.
Pacino, Michael Douglas, and Robert Redford were considered for the part of Jim Phelps. I don't think any of those guys were ever considered doing it. John McTiernan was the original choice for director. That
Oh,
would have been
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
But I guess he was done with
different.
he was done with trains after Die Hard 3. He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good. Um, now we know they're all saying Kiev wrong, and it bothers me. And it's all the Russians.
yeah,
Goddamn
yeah.
Russians. It's not the Ukraine. It's just Ukraine.
Yeah.
Not Kiev, it's Kiev. You guys
Mm.
suck. God damn it. Stupid Russians.
Yeah.
Um, Disappointed we never got to see what hat Ethan was wearing when he had to take off to wear the hood for Max.
I swear in the, later movies where they're back with what is it supposed to be her daughter? I don't really remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I
the
swear
hood comes back.
yes, that's what I was about to say, Mike. I swear it's the same exact
It is
one.
the exact same hood, but we never
It's
get to see the hat that
crazy.
they had to take off to wear the hood because they like take
Yeah.
off your hat and you put this on. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
because
I want to see what.
it's all POV.
Right, I want to see what hat Tom's wearing. Um, Max's crew once again has the obligatory long-haired, nondescript European man.
Yeah, isn't that this? He comes back too, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Isn't that
he's
the same
there.
dude
What do you
in
mean
the
in
later
the?
one?
I don't know about that, but it's funny that in the '90s, if you were a European thug of some kind, if you were in a
Yeah,
European gang of some kind,
you got
at
to be
least one of your
tall with
guys
blonde hair.
had to have long hair.
Yeah,
Not necessarily blonde, but definitely long hair.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all from Die Hard.
yep.
Max's right hand goon, withering line of "I always check the batteries" is also permanently in my brain.
Yeah, that's fair.
This movie had a budget of $80 million, which is a little under $160 million today. Worldwide gross of a little over $457 million, which is a little over $915 million today.
Hmm.
Cruise deferred his usual $20 million salary for a slice of the profits this time since he was producer, and he made himself a
Mm.
cool $70 million on this one.
Oh my God. I mean, he's producer the whole way through, isn't it?
Yes, this is the first time he ever produced a movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, debuted at
He
number.
picked a good idea, right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
apparently he
man
was a
made a lot of money.
apparently he was a big fan of the TV show and he was excited about doing all the gadgets.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Debuted at number one in its opening weekend release. Other new release that week was Spy Hard, which came in at number three.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Leslie Nielsen. So what did you find? What was your final score?
16 and a half.
Okay, so just under me.
Yeah,
Well,
you
hey,
said 17 or 17 and a half.
17 and a half.
Okay, so it's just a point difference. Okay.
Yeah. So Tim, what was Ethan's best run of the movie?
Oh,
Running.
it's the fish tank
Yeah.
scene without a doubt. I mean, he is during finding out his IMF team is all dying, he is doing a little bit of running
Mm-hmm.
between those spots. But then yeah, the next moment is the fish tank. And to be honest, I don't know if he's really doing that much running again after that.
I don't think so. So what would you say? How would you rank his running in this movie?
That's the difficult thing because like he doesn't do a whole lot more besides that like 1.5 moment. But at the same time, it's a pretty iconic moment. So I had to go over at least a 50%. So I went with a 6, but I could be totally
Oh, we're
convinced
still
for
going out of 10. That's fine.
I could be
Uh,
convinced to go to a 7 as well.
I like six. Six
Okay.
works.
Six
I,
is
I,
six is good.
six is good. I was thinking at 1 out of 5 again.
Six is good.
I was
Oh,
gonna give
okay.
him
My
3.
bad. My bad. Yeah, I think that's what we did. We did it out of 10
We
last
did at
time,
10
right?
before. Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I went that route.
That's fine.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I thought 6 was my first grab because again, it is pretty iconic and that's what gets it there, but it's like that's it after that. So
Well, that means we're all done, and it's time to move on to the next one. In the year 2000.
I am I'm not looking forward to this. I've said it before. Every time I rewatch this movie, I'm super bummed out and mad.
Cue the Limp Biscuit. It's time to get on. MI2.
Yeah, and maybe like, because again, I love this. I love Mission Impossible so much, right? I probably burned a hole in that tape on VHS, right? And then the second movie's coming out and like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And then like it's such a drastically different movie that it is hard for me to accept it. on like so many levels. And man, it's a bummer.
Mm. Well,
I
who do you think hates that movie more, you or Dougray Scott?
Oh, it's a good call. Probably do Gray Scott because it cost him Wolverine.
Yeah,
And it cost him a whole lot of money.
yeah.
But
A
I mean, I
career.
who would have thought? I mean, I don't know. Like he's not Hugh Jackman. I don't know. Like I
It
mean,
all worked out for the best.
yeah. I mean, would he have been able to be the same kind of a Wolverine? I don't think so. So
Yeah,
there's only one Hugh Jackman.
that's right.
Yeah.
The Music Man himself. So you
Yeah.
got anything else?
Exactly. I think that's it, man.
All right.
I'm not looking forward to this, but
Can't wait.
I might have to get a few more drinks in me for the next episode, so we'll see.
Well, that is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Phillips.
Table self-destruct in 5 seconds.